Welcome to episode 14 and a half of the Two Russells podcast with me, Russell Jervis, and
Me, Russell Quirk.
and today the tables are being turned because we're not doing the interviewing. We're going to be interviewed by Olivia Noonan. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
I'm not sure I'm looking forward to this because you have been very protective, Olivia, over the questions that you've prepared. So are we not going to like them very much?
I don't know.
Shall we kick
Ooh.
off and see?
Sure.
And you're going to ask each question to both of us. Who's going first, me or Mr. Jervis?
I don't mind.
Okay, let's take the question.
As Mary Property, would you want your daughter working in the industry?
What a question.
Ooh.
Shall I go?
Well, you can go because mine already does.
Well, you better go then. Explain.
I've had a great journey through the property industry. I've worked with some amazing daughters, and my daughter Zoe currently is a mortgage broker, has been for the last 3 years. So she is following in her father's footsteps.
Did you encourage her?
She came to me 3 years ago and said, look, I'm in sales. She was doing incredibly well at David Lloyd, wanted to get into something different, and I thought mortgage broking would be fantastic for her, and I've been absolutely championing her. So Zoe, if you're watching this, you must book your ticket that she must attend next March's Women in Estate Agency event, because it would be brilliant for her. Get her on stage, or get your mum to get her on stage, Olivia. So my other daughter is a midwife, so and she presented on stage at a Spice a Heart conference a few years ago. So she spoke to all the agents about empathy, so I would encourage Russell.
So I've got 3 daughters. They're all at school still, so at secondary school. So one of them's 16, 2 of them as twins are 14. We have started talking about careers. I definitely wouldn't discourage them from being in property, because I think that overall it's a great industry, and it's multi-layered. And what I mean by that, Olivia, is there's lots of different things. You can go into house building, you can go into property law, you can be an estate agent, a letting agent, you can go into technology. There's lots and lots of different parts of property right there. Or you could be someone that buys and sells property businesses at a very high and professional level. I don't know if you know anyone like that, Olivia. Anyway, yes, my mum does. So I wouldn't discourage them. I wouldn't want them to go into property without going to university, because I didn't go to university. I didn't get a degree, and it's my biggest regret, actually. I wish I'd gone to university and got a degree. So I would encourage them if I thought that there was a hint of them liking the property industry based on what they hear me doing sometimes. I would then absolutely encourage them. I think it's a great industry to be in.
What do you want to do, Olivia, when you grow up? Although you're pretty grown up now.
I don't know.
I think she wants to be a TV presenter, and I think she'd be very good at it. So, question number 2. Do they get harder as they go along?
Yeah.
Yes, I think. I
Uh-oh.
don't know. So, my mum is part of the Women Estate Agency. Why do you think we need a group like this? And what do you think of it?
So, I went to the last Women in Estate Agency conference. And here and there, every few minutes, there must have been some bugs or something flying around, because I ended up with something in my eye where it was kind of leaking a little bit. Someone said that I might actually have had a tear in my eye, but that's not true. I definitely didn't. It was something in my eye. No, I found it very emotional, actually, listening to the stories of the women that were there on stage talking about hardship and how that hadn't held them back, but actually in many instances had encouraged them to strive even further, either to work for themselves or to go for big promotions or whatever. It was really, really, really inspiring. So I think it's a brilliant group. I think it's highlighting women in estate agency as individuals that perhaps, where some are concerned, they felt a bit kind of held back by an industry that has been a bit draconian, if you know what I mean. So what I mean by that is a bit backward. So it's a traditional industry that actually until recently was probably seen as a very male dominated industry, and it shouldn't be. So I think that what your mum and Verona Frankish and Claire Hughes and so on and so forth are doing is a wonderful thing to kind of highlight the fact that it's an industry for everybody.
Amazing event. I've been on record before saying best event I attend each year. Can't wait to go to next year's. Is it necessary? It shouldn't be, but actually the power of the people in that room, I think it will just grow and grow and grow. And I think men in the industry need to take a good look at behaviours, past, and actually up their game, because there is some incredible female leaders out there that are no longer in the minority. So yeah, big fan. I don't know why big words Russell there used. Draconian. I don't even know what that means.
I'm helping to educate. You'll use that in the next few days when you're at home.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
you talk to your
yeah.
mum and dad.
Yeah.
When your dad tells you off and says you can't do something, you say, "Dad, that's a bit draconian." I'm helping. I'm helping.
Very good. Question number 3.
Do you think estate agencies will still be around when I'm old, like you two are, or do you think it will be all run by robots?
Oh,
Hang on, should we start with the insult that obviously your mum wrote, didn't she? Let's be honest. And obviously Russell Jervis is much older than me, so perhaps
am.
he's more qualified to talk about
younger.
the future. I'm still only in my 20s. Do I think it'll still be around? Yeah, I do. And I hope it is in a version of its current form. So lots of people talk about technology and robots. It's all going to take over. There's a saying that you can't digitize, here comes another big word, empathy. You can't digitize empathy. And whether you're a mortgage broker, an estate agent, someone selling new houses, or someone like your mum helping people buy and sell businesses, technology will never replace people. Technology is important, but people and the need for those people to be kind of helpful and knowledgeable and to be a kind of a hand holder will always be important. So I think estate agents will always be there in various forms, including, dare I say, on the high street forever.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think unless your mum keeps selling all of them and they all get swallowed up into one, then our estate agents will still be here as they have been for many years. So, yep, when you're as old as me, I think you'll be able to still walk into an estate agent in the high street.
Russell still remembers the first ever estate agency, which was opened in St Albans High Street in 1863.
Yeah.
He still remembers that.
Yeah. With my quill pen.
Yeah, you used to have to do viewings on a horse.
Right, the next question.
Viewings on a horse. Someone will bring it back somewhere.
Okay, so is this question number 5?
4.
Oh, 4. Right,
One
okay.
more for this. So,
Okay.
a lot of what my mum does sounds really boring, and she works a lot. Are your jobs boring too? She picks them.
Did she write them? Well, we thought these were yours. Though I thought you were going to ask me what my favourite meal at Wagamama's is. But no, never a dull moment. Lots of fun and games in my work. Get to talk to people all day, every day, and make sure that there's a variety in it. There is some boring stuff, but I try and keep that to a minimum.
So I'm genuinely never ever bored with what I do. And if I start to feel that I might eventually get a bit bored with what I do, I just create something that gives me another challenge or another project. So I go and do something outside my comfort zone. So something that I'm not used to doing to kind of, just kind of keep me interested, really. So no, I'm never, ever bored. I think if you're in a job that you're bored with, and I don't think your mum really is bored with her job at all, but if you're in a job that you're bored with, and this is me saying this, he should be saying this as the recruiter, change your bloody job.
Yeah.
Change your job.
No, she thinks my job's boring.
But you don't though, do you?
I do not. You get all these questions. You can't blame me. I
So
didn't
does
write
your mum
any of the
think that you
questions.
think her job
Yeah.
is boring?
Do you think my job's interesting?
Yeah.
Oh,
Lucy, do you think your job's interesting?
I love my job.
Should we save this till our the
Okay.
podcast later?
Right, this
Last one, big one.
punchy question.
Okay. A lot of what my mum.
No.
Wrong question. Do you think it's getting easier for girls to reach the top business these days, or do you think we still have to work harder than boys?
Great question. There are some amazing female leaders in the property industry, and I think on the podcast previously, several Amy Shields and Alice have mentioned previously that they felt they held themselves back sometimes from not going for jobs that they thought they weren't fully qualified for. So I think still there is a mindset that you need to work harder as a female, but I don't think that's in evidence now when we see the leadership across the estate agency boards of the UK. More and more powerful women at the helm. So yeah, as I said earlier, men need to watch out for people like your mum, and I'm sure one day you.
Yeah, so I don't think they have to work harder, and they definitely shouldn't have to work harder. I think it should all be equal, right? So, and I think everyone should be recognized on their merits. Basically, if you're good, regardless of who you are and what your gender is, you should be recognized for that and promoted. No one should be held back because they're a man or a woman, or based on their sexuality or their race, their ethnicity, or whatever. I do think, as I said earlier, that the property industry, in some respects, but in a decreasing way, is a bit too traditional in its outlook. So I know you're only 9, so I'm probably going to say some stuff that you're that will perplex you a little bit here, Olivia. But
Another big word.
Sorry, I can't help myself. It's just, we'll just call it a vocabulary lesson, right? There are certain company websites that you will still look at today where 80 or 90% of the board members of those big businesses are 40 or 50-year-old white men. And that's disproportionate, and that has to change. But the good thing is, it is changing. And I think we all, and I mean companies, individuals, men, women, we all need to do more to recognise the normality of women doing well and to help promote that and encourage it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
All good.
Was that the last one?
Yes.
Olivia, I have to say, you're quite a tough interviewer, aren't you? I think you should make this your job in the future. I think you'd be very good at it.
Be a good podcaster.
Yeah, definitely.
You should do a podcast. You should do a podcast, not just in property, but interviewing interesting people. You fancy that?
Yeah.
Get your mum to set it
Kind
up.
of.
Kind of.
She'd
Kind
pay you.
of.
No, she did say she'd pay you. She'd pay you £50 for every podcast that you do.
Thanks for that, also.
Yeah, which I think is, no, that's great, isn't it? I would shake
Yeah.
her hand now and say, okay, mum, go on.
£50 a podcast.
I'll do that.
No.
Sorry,
Two
Liz.
Noonans have definitely interviewed the two Russells.
Yay!
Yeah, nice. Well, that's that then. So, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from us.